Alright, this must be a new low for me. Recording myself playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 of all things. Because tonight is a good night. I gotta move this fucking thing out of the way. Get out of there. Tonight I decided, I was gonna sit down and just read all of Battle Angel Alita. Not all of it, just the rest of it. The final volume of the deluxe, which has not come out yet. I had promised myself I'd wait till October to finally read the final volume of the masterpiece that has consumed half of my thoughts for the past, 5 months. Maybe not 5, I don't fucking know. But, oh shit, no, this is a hacked lobby. Okay. So I just sat down and I just did it. I just decided, fuck that, I'm not waiting 2 more months just to see the final conclusion to the story. I'm gonna be fucking terrible at this game. I don't know how to play. Yeah. And I gotta say, I was not disappointed. This is the thing about Alita for me is always, at first it never struck me as anything more than like an action-packed, post-apocalyptic cyberpunk story, and it was great. That's that. It was a 10 out of 10 for me because it was just everything I love. All the genres, not even everything. I'm pretty into weird horror shit, gross, perverted crap. Like Jay Ballman, he's a man I relate to. From Red Letter Media, for anyone who doesn't know. It just kind of hit a lot of the marks of the stuff I really value aesthetically. The genre, the things, it captured a lot of the things I loved about the genre really well. Where the fuck did that guy just go? Holy shit! I'm terrible at this game. I just joined them and died twice. Oh my god, I've died 3 times. That was a bad spawn though, that's not fair. Oh well. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. But I wanna get my kill. There we go, I did it, fuck. I'm terrible at this fucking game. I can never tell whether to blame the game or myself for just being generally the shittiest. I'm blaming myself. There's no excuse for that or yeah. Okay. I need to focus. I need to start fucking talking about the thing I decided to start recording about, which is Battle fucking Angel Alita. The greatest manga of our generation that happened to be released in the 90s and was written then. It was not actually. It's being re-released by Kodansha Comics, and I have to thank them. I believe they're the ones who re-released Akira as well in these, large hardcover things. They're really nice to read because they've got really high image quality. There's the translations on them are really nice. They really, especially when you compare it to the old scans that the Viz Media did for the Battle Angel Alita manga back in the 90s, early 2000s maybe. I don't really know. Fuck. And those are the ones I kind of read the last volume of online because I was kind of desperate. I just wanted to know the end of the story. I really wanted to experience it, but what really put me off in doing that before was just that I did not like reading the scans that much. They just were completely inferior to the amazing quality of the Kodansha hardcover deluxe volumes. Those were so good to read. They just felt good to hold, to turn pages, because the images were so perfect and pristine. It was just so nice. It's just so nice. I've read them multiple times, but I just love doing them. I just love reading it. Both because the story is magnificent, in this humble man's opinion. I'm not humble, discrediting myself immediately. I am not a reliable source of information. I'm the most biased man when it comes to these things. But, yeah, I finally got to finish that, and I was really, and what was really struck me about Alita was, again, I was saying, at first I really just thought it was a a kind of violent, action-packed cyberpunk story set in a post-apocalyptic place, which was great. I loved that. I love that as a setting. I love that as an aesthetic, and it kind of just, for being that alone and being it really well, it sort of solidified a place in my heart just for capturing that aesthetic and charm of this genre that I'm such a big fan of.
Heads up.
I really need to read more stuff in that genre. Dead. You know, because I feel like if I did, I just, you know, I love like Mad Max films. I love Fallout, all the Fallout games that I've played. You know, Fallout 3, which has kind of lost a lot of steam in the public critical landscape. Unfortunately, I think that game's still fucking fantastic. Although it does have a lot of problems, I think it's great. And for a lot of the same reasons I thought like Alita was great. This weird, like this really nice aesthetic. I love like just shots of ruined wastelands that are post-apocalyptic. Especially like, it's the fact that it's post-apocalyptic, because I love those settings. Like almost inherently, it's just something I'm drawn to from some kind of base level of just love for something. I don't know why. It's just the mix of like this barbaric like hierarchy of morals mixed like with this futuristic setting that has just been completely destroyed and reset. Like the fact that an entire system had been like created and then destroyed at some point in the past. Like, it leaves so much up to the imagination of what the world has to offer, and I think a lot of the things that I love about a post-apocalyptic setting is the fact that you get to like speculate about all of it. You get to explore a lot of it too. That's my favorite thing about Fallout 3. I always feel like whenever I play that game, I just find something different that I never knew existed in this world, even if there's something small. And I've always liked New Vegas, especially because it's just that like it really deals with how a world like this would be run, how something like water would become such a big resource in a land which has pretty much been reduced to desert, especially in something like, you know, Nevada. So yeah, I really like that. I love the cyberpunk aspect to it as well, because it really solidifies the futuristic aspects of it. Like, it plays into the themes of Alita a lot, and especially Alita's character arc, which is fucking fantastic. Alita is possibly my favorite character. She's up there. She's up there, I say. Up with, you know, Akko Kagari, my waifu forever, for life. She's up there with Guts, the Black Swordsman. Stop breathing for a second there. Look at that terrible game. You know, she's up there with all these characters I love, who I'm also forgetting a lot of them right now, because I'm fucking terrible at commentating. I just put on a fucking pair of turtle beaches. Like, I'm the only man in this generation of technology who still wears these types of headsets, but I'm doing it anyway because I just felt like it. I had no chance there. And I don't really want to get into a lot of the meat of talking about Alita. One, because off the cuff, I will sound like a fucking madman trying to articulate like some weird ass conspiracy that he concocted in his mind. But really, I've been planning to write a blog about this. I've already started multiple drafts that have been abandoned. I'm trying to stick with one of them because I really want to write something about Alita because I really like it. I can't get comfortable with this chair. Jesus Christ. And so, I guess to summarize, the thing I like about Alita, or the thing that really began to strike me more as the story went along, was just how much of it turns out to be symbolic on some level. Like, you know, at the beginning, it just like I said, it just feels like a cool, like, genre piece. It just kind of captures action in a cool setting and stuff. But it just, like, then you realize around in the second deluxe volume. I'm reading the deluxe one, so I don't really know the like original volumes, the contents of them. I got noob tubed in 2018 by a one-man army.
UAV recon standing by.
This is a shitty game, by the way. No one should ever play this game. It should have never been invented. I play it because I'm compulsive and addicted. Partially because of my childhood and the fact that I'm not as good as I used to be wounds my pride to an extent that just like forces me to continue playing to regain my lost skill and talent at this worthless fucking game that I hate. This is my life. I'm terrible. I'm a fucking horrible person. Why do I do this? Why do I do this? Why am I alive? I'm dying. I need to talk about Alita. Alita is why I started this. I need to talk about her. Oh god, Alita, the character though, the arc she eventually goes on. You know, I was already compelled on a smaller level in the first chapter, or not the first chapter. I was hooked on the first chapter, of course, and I've continued with that. But yes, I would have. I bought it. But you know, like at first, you know, she was just kind of like, you know, girl trying to figure out what she is, you know, type of thing, dealing with heartache, dealing with the world that is very cruel and savage and lacks any type of real empathy towards other people because it's all about trying to stay alive by being a ruthless killer. Like, the world has created... The world has just kind of made a lot of people into like bad monsters. You can't necessarily blame a lot of them because just trying to survive in this horrible world. I can't believe I did not kill that guy. Just requires you to change in a way that is less than ideal, but is sort of necessary. And I think the thing that was great about Alita is that she is a strong character. She can survive on her own. Though she always, what she really needed a lot of the time was just this emotional stability to give her the will to keep fighting. Which, you know, is given to her by the people she loves. One of the great things about this fucking manga, I want to talk about so badly, it's just that, like, whenever I read a lot of, like, action, shonen shit, there's always a part where they, like, question life, whether it's worth living, and it always comes off as kind of forced and shallow, like, yeah, of course, life is worth living, yada yada yada, because, you know, life is good, you like people, and you want to be with people. I really felt like this manga explores that so much more with her character, because it really, a lot of it just becomes like super allegorical to the Ubermensch, like Friedrich Nietzsche's, however the fuck you pronounce the German fucker's name. It just becomes like borderline an allegory to like all of his philosophies about the Ubermensch. I really like the Ubermensch as a philosophy, so I was really hooked on this at some point. And I'm not pulling that out of my ass, by the way. Like there's a fucking panel in the deluxe where Alita's fighting Kaku, or whatever his name was, the parasitic maggot dude, where he drops a line like saying, yeah, I've read Nietzsche before, and it's like, okay, so the author is very much aware of the Ubermensch, and like all of her dialogue after a certain point is just like borderline like ideologically parallels the Ubermensch philosophy, as well as the will to power in many ways. Which, you know, those are things I'm very big on. If I were to kind of summarize the themes of Alita in a way, it would be growth, life, and perseverance of people. And I think that's the thing that really encapsulates the Ubermensch as a idea, is that it's based on a person who refuses to acknowledge faith-based things like religion, because it's they find it like inherently against the idea of life itself on Earth, which you know, if you ask like the Ubermensch like what the meaning of life is, they would say like it's that you're gonna die one day and you gotta make the most of it. That guy fucking... Who the fuck shot me? Okay. That's but I took that from the Urban Dictionary definition because I had to do a lot of research on it to make sure I understood Alita like I am talking like I do now. I do believe I have a very strong understanding of that manga, of what the author was trying to convey with her art. By taking so much from, like also spoke spoke Zarathustra, the book that Ubermensch became popular from. It wasn't Nietzsche himself, Nietzsche, who created it. It was already a concept before. He popularized it. He got it from other guys who influenced him, like Otto Emerson, and it became a thing that he expounded on a lot of people, which he eventually really popularized. But the main appeal of something like the Ubermensch is again the fact that I'm changing classes. Is the fact that this is based on a person who loves life so much that they find any way to stay with it, their philosophy is based completely on trying to grow and improve yourself because you love life so much that you want to persevere. You want to be able to banish herd instincts, to be yourself and only yourself. You don't subscribe to any type of ideology or group or herd instinct, like I said, because your goal is to be only you. But the thing that really solidifies the Ubermensch to a lot of people is the fact that it's not based on forcing choosing any sides or forcing people to agree with you. It's about becoming a very strong-willed individual who, by the mere capabilities of their own willpower, can inspire people, not force them, but to inspire people to take up your own ideals, to move people in a way that is both emotional and logical, because you command them with charisma and karma. I guess is one way to put it. And that's what I love about Alita, is that she eventually comes to many realizations about what she values, and she really wants peace for the world. She doesn't want the world to be plunged in chaos with war she's constantly had to go through. She's spent her entire life since Ido rescued her from the scrapyard as nothing but a small little mannequin with no life to her. She's just spent all this time fighting, both for herself to obtain things that she loves, to keeping them around, and also for the other people who she's grown to care about and who she doesn't want to see hurt. And it's a really respectable quality to her, that she is extremely empathetic, but also selfish in many ways. The other thing about the Ubermensch that I really look up to, that I really love, is the idea that of the unity of opposites and non-dualism, that there's so much contradictions in the world that there is no real truth. It's all perspectivism. That it is true that the people of the scrapyard are living in subjugation and oppression, because and that they want liberation, they want freedom from this higher power that is Salem. But it's also true that in many ways Salem is keeping everything in order by being an oppressive system, and that to not liberate people in the scrapyard is in fact keeping things afloat. So it's never a black and white issue. It's always a matter of there's no clear answer. But the one that Alita really comes to is I want everyone to work together towards a peaceful resolution in which everyone can benefit from, both by constantly trying to improve themselves in order to improve the world and others around them. It's basically Best Guy Ever's weird utilitarianism. I am pretty sure that's what it is. I'm sure he's aware of the Ubermensch. I don't know It's probably I didn't listen to his podcast. I don't know if it's more. I don't know how much different it is from what I'm describing, but that's kind of what it is.
Team
It's a
deathmatch.
very. It's really a
Rangers lead the way.
It's really a code of life and a philosophy that is easy to get behind because it's very much about a love for people, yourself, life, the fact that of just living in general, all the things that make up yourself as a person and others around you, and wanting to see them thrive and prosper. That's the thing that I really love about the Ubermensch philosophy, which I think Alita encapsulates extremely well as a character. Like, it's not the fact that she is a representation for these ideals that makes her a good, compelling character. It's the fact that she represents them so well. That Yukito, I think, I don't know his name, Kishiro, I believe, Yukito Kishiro, the author of Alita, the creator. The fact that he could bring them out so well and to create a character so compelling and empathetic and sympathetic and just someone who can you easily get behind because they're so bold and empowering is what I really like about Alita. For every the thing that really solidifies her as a character is all the ideological battles she has in the later half of the manga, where she's just constantly like fighting to survive, but also just to find peace for once in her fucking life. Like, she's just had to struggle and deal with all this shit for so long that she just she constantly is falling into these trenches, these bouts of depression, just from feeling isolated and lonely from all the people who she's just put herself in front of, like, to protect and to give a future for them. Just constant, like, self-sacrificing, but also in many ways being selfish for the fact that she's sacrificing so much for the things she loves and values. I think she's a very strong character. I think, you know, the fact that she's never one to take sides in anything. She's always looking for a way to better both herself and others by just all around trying to spread peace, but then realizing that peace is kind of impossible in a lot of ways. Like, it's the old George Carlin quote that, like, peace is, you know, I really want it, I don't promote it, but, you know, war and bloodshed are kind of the only things that will ever cause change. And unfortunately, she has to grapple with that fact. It's kind of true. Unfortunately, that the world we lived in is so fucked. Like, the society which she has been forced to take part in is so fundamentally just, like, distraught, fucked, and unsavable. But yet somehow, through her own willpower, like, she finds that not only is she one individual who cannot possibly make a difference by herself, but she's a small component, a gear within the giant order and system that is the world. That she is just nothing but like a microorganism within, you know? Yet the fact that she has the willpower to make other people change in such a way to make the differences that she wants to see realized and fulfilled, that it's really a thing of, you know, I might, you know, it's both the individual is the most, like, you know, how do I put it? I can't aim this gun. I gotta come out. It's that the individual is the most, like, unimportant part of, like, a collective, of an authoritarian system in which, you know, you have to sacrifice individual needs, yet at the same time it is the most important because it is what keeps afloat the system. It is that, like, it's that contradiction, that duality that she embraces that makes her so powerful, that makes her such a force to be reckoned with, and someone that you can really get behind both ideologically and emotionally. And the fact that she represents the changes that she wants to see, that she wants at no point is she willing to give up, or she is at many points, but you know what makes her so damn lovable and compelling is that, like, from all the shit she takes, all the depression and stuff, she embraces the suffering that is inherent to life, that is part of the struggle to live, to be a human on Earth, and does not try to find any way around it. She's always constantly looking for change to better everything around her and herself, just to prosper. Because for those small moments when she is like happy in comparison to when she's sad, like they are made stronger by the fact that she's had to suffer and struggle to obtain that happiness, which, you know, makes from a lot of the like super emotional moments when she overcomes all the self-doubt, all the burdens that she's taken on for others, and she's just finally, you know, gotten over all the hurdles and obstacles that have plagued her path to happiness, that when she finally obtains it, it is that much more impactful and powerful. God, it's such a fucking amazing manga. Her as a character. And I love it. I love it. That's the gist of it. That's the fucking gist of it. Is that I think she is an amazing character. And yes, I did kind of go off the rails. I'm still talking about it. But I've kind of lost track of what I was about to say. I'm trying not to use a lot of examples. I'm trying to write a blog about it, about why she's so great. It's just, you know, the fact that she as a character just goes through so much shit and finally comes out just finally happy at small increments of the manga, only to just be constantly like plunged back into hardship, only for like the lesson of life that she learns is that, you know, the good old saying of, you know, as long as you keep trucking, as long as you keep fighting, it'll eventually be okay. You'll eventually find happiness and stability in some way. This is might be about to close. Okay. I'm good. I gotta use my mouse for this. This controller thing is coming up. I'm gonna vote to skip because I don't like this map. I also gotta let my pupper out. She's clamoring at the door intensely. I gotta get her. I gotta go get the dog. Come here. I'm gonna get you. Be free. Be free. Okay. Distractions over. Back to Alita. Back to the greatest manga ever written. I think it is my favorite manga. For the longest time, I've held that Milk Morinaga's Girlfriends is my favorite, and to many extents, I would say it is. I have multiple favorites. I don't believe in just choosing one favorite, though usually one will consistently like occupy me in my mind for longer periods of time, and I usually just kind of resort to saying like that's my favorite, just for simplification purposes. But you know, what the fuck just happened? This isn't the Milk Morinaga podcast. This isn't the Girlfriends podcast. This isn't even a podcast. This is just me fucking rambling. But I'm gonna call it a podcast. It sounds good that way. I'm gonna start this horn hums. This terrible thing I decided to do one day. Horn hums podcast. It has a ring to it, I think. I'm so glad that guy did not turn around. So bad at this fucking game. I hope you all are satisfied seeing me just be terrible at video games for your sakes. is what happened when I got rid of my gamer identity. Fuck. There's a guy standing right there. There's so many guys standing right there. He's gonna kill it. Off topic yet again. Surprise, surprise. What else am I fucked up? Yeah, you know, one of the things about Hoseki no Kuni, you know, I think a lot of people pointed out a very strong metaphor in that show for trauma, for dealing with trauma was, it kind of came in episode 4, I'm kind of paraphrasing what Digibro said in his IGTV vlog about it, that, you know, like, what Foes undergoes is a very difficult period of her life where she has to deal with a lot of shit, struggling to understand her own purpose, both within the world and what she represents to others, and eventually coming out of this incredibly difficult time of her life with stronger legs, basically. You know, she's overcome trauma and now she is stronger because of it. Her legs were broken because they were fragile, but now they are stronger and more sturdy than ever before, and it's a strong symbol of her becoming stronger after dealing with trauma. And I think Alita does the same thing. She, you know, constantly has to like be reconstructed and whatnot.
UAV online.
She was weak with once, but now how did I miss 2 fucking people right there? What the fuck? Okay, what? No, no, I don't believe that. That is some horse shit. This game is fucking.
Care package on the way.
I don't believe that. You know, like every time she deals with all these horrible pent-up emotions that just have constantly caused her agony and pain for so long. Fuck. He's running a sniper and he has commando. What the fuck? Who does that? I cannot see him. I just gotta
Enemy UAV
talk.
Enemy care package incoming. Enemy UAV spotted.
No, you will fucking die. I gotta go let my dog in again. She's barking. She's calling for me. I'm again interrupting the horn hums.
Tossing a flashbang.
Doors. There's a person right there. I can select this kill if the sentry gun has not killed them already. I can take it. I just gotta reload. There they are. Okay, I'm back. I'm sneaking. There he is. Okay, no. I'm a failure. I'm a fucking failure. I need to kill this guy first.
UAV online.
Hey, I actually did it without dying. Impressive.
UAV recon ready for deployment.
Ooh, Lord. Now. This gun. This recoil, I don't know why I use it. Where did the guy go?
Care package on the way.
Damn it! Ah!
UAV recon.
What was I fucking talking about again? I don't know.
UAV online.
This manga is full of symbolism, is what I'm just the gist of it all. It's everything comes together at some point. Is this ours? I don't think it is. Ah! Suck it, bitch. I'm now going completely quiet. I've just stopped talking. I don't even know. I don't know what the fuck even. What gave me the idea to do this? Oh yeah, it was Alita. It's because I want to talk about Alita. Because I can't write for shit. All my writing projects turn to shit because they are shit. I bastardized everything good in this world, trying to explain my stupid ape with my ape-like abilities. How is this guy not dying? Oh, we lost.
Mission failed. Bring it
Oh,
next
well.
time.
I think I hammered in everything I like about Alita for the most part. Her design's pretty great. She's pretty badass. I respect that as a character in an action manga. I think really just the core appeal of her in the manga is that the appeal of the Ubermensch philosophy of just like, I love life, therefore I will embrace all the suffering and all the hardships in order to get to the parts that are actually worth like happiness. Yeah. Whoa. You know, I do want to talk about girlfriends. This is now the Horn Hums Girlfriends podcast. It's no longer about Battle Angel Alita. Fuck that manga. It's not even good. It's all about girlfriends now. I just want to talk about. I just can't get over the amazing romantic progression of this manga. That the really like my biggest issue with a lot of romance is that like from the very beginning the manga or the anime will say like, hey, these characters are totally in a relationship. Will constantly hint at that, like, hey, these characters I just met, they must totally be into each other in some way. And it always kind of makes me feel like they're not really friends in a lot of ways. They're just like both in love with each other and only hang out because of that reason. I always like had the underlying feeling about romance. I don't know if that's a problem with me or romance itself, or if there is any actual problem at all, and I'm not just projecting all my weird shit. That is otherwise just supposed to be happy, a slice of life, good times. You know? Happy slice of life, good times. I'm sure you've read a happy slice of life, good times. It's a happy, good time. Jolly good day, sir. But like what I've always found super relatable about girlfriends as someone who's not really had much romantic experience myself is not the like those inherently romantic moments. It's the things about the romantic experience which apply to basic human relationships in general. Just, you know, feeling selfish or jealous about someone, having friends, like your best friend having intimate or close relationships with other people, and you just kind of want to hog them to yourself. Like, and what I like, that's one of the things about Mary that I love better, or Mari. I say Mary. I don't know how it's pronounced. If it is Mari, I refuse to say Mari because it's the name of the shitty Evangelion rebuild character that no one likes. But you know, that's one of the first things about Mary's character that's always really clicked with me. You know, like, because I can't always relate to just relationship stuff, to basic romance. I do need, like, something a bit more grounded and relatable, that's a bit more applicable to multiple angles of life than just something on the basic romantic, romantic way. And I think the way that the manga begins, you know, with it really creates the sense that they are great friends, that they both have reasons for wanting to become friends, but they also have good chemistry. Why the fuck is this guy not getting flashbanged at all? Where'd he go? What? Ah. Okay. I don't know why none of those hit, but that was kind of bullshit. I barely got that kill. That was a bit more close for comfort than should have been. Yeah. You know, like, that's one of the things about Mary. I've said that like 3 times. Like, the fact that it's not just romance, it's a very strong sense of like these two are actually close to each other, and that they're just going through what is normal, like jealousy, envy, heartache, just at wanting to like keep someone close to you, but also not sure where to take a relationship that you're a little like afraid of losing, or afraid of damaging in any way. You know, afraid of change that might even be for the better or for the worse. Which, and being afraid to speak up or say anything will eventually just, you know, cause you to just become a bit stagnant in a relationship, to never evolve, and to constantly shoulder more heartache, and because of that. I can't believe I missed 2 of those. What the fuck is wrong with me?
UAV online.
It's fucking terrible. Okay. Just gotta rag on myself more. Just because it's the one thing keeping this somewhat. You know, I'm just gonna go. Let's snipe. I want to snipe. Oh fuck! It's the guy. It's the guy whose weapon I stole. Fuck you. You're a little bitch. What the fuck was I talking about? It was something. I'm sure. I don't remember what it was though. There's a guy in there. Yeah, there's a... I don't know where. I like camping. It's the only time I feel safe. There is no fucking way that actually killed me. How? That was nowhere near me. Okay. And yeah, that's something I think a lot of people like me can relate to. Just you know, like having someone very close to you whose relationship means a lot to you because they're your best friend or someone who you love dearly. And you know, with Mary, when she begins to develop romantic relationships with Akko, it's in that moment where she's just kind of like, I have to deal with this. Like I hate the fact that I feel jealous. I think it's a very selfish thing. I don't like it. I don't like this part of me. She starts, you know, getting into a lot of self-doubt and just general sadness and depression for having to feel this way when she doesn't want to, where she just would rather, you know, go back to their original relationship of just being friends, where she didn't have to feel so much agony over everything that they do together. Really? Really? Okay. It's something I really love about her character. This always found very easy to connect to. And two guys. So when that whole arc of her starts, I've always really gotten behind her as a character. I've always loved reading about her. I've read that manga about 3 times now because it's so powerful for me, things like that. And one of the genius things is that, like, for Akko, her character is often defined by like this almost like lack of awareness, self-awareness in many ways. Like she will often push things onto Mary without realizing she's doing it, and you know, possibly invading her comfort zone in a lot of ways. Just because, like, for her, what's normal is just doing these things with her friends who are a lot more proactive, a lot more like her. Fucking noob tubes in 2018, like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. Wow, that one hit me straight on. That one was right in my gut, my face, and my face. You know, and I think a lot of Akko's revolves around that, around like learning to really look inwards for herself and towards Mary, to consider her feelings a bit more, and in doing so begins to realize more how much she really cares about her, how much she means to her on an emotional level, and eventually becomes, what the fuck? No, fuck you, what the fuck? Oh no. And yeah, okay, I'm just gonna lie down. But I don't want to be the last.
We lost. Learn from this.
Because in a lot of ways, I think she sees herself in Mary. It's that one chapter, I think chapter 19 or 20, where you get that flashback where it's just her living with her mom. She doesn't really have any friends, but then she gets really into makeup. She wants to redefine her image and make herself cute. And but before that, she was just like Mary. She didn't really have a lot of friends. She didn't have any friends, really. All the ones she had just didn't last. And for Mary, it's the same way. She's lonely now, and she makes a friend, and that friend means a lot to her, so she wants it to last. And you know, one of the early parts of the show, before really any of the romance comes into the equation, is just that feeling of like, you know, it's something so fucking relatable. Like every time I would graduate from one grade, move up from like 5th to 6th or something like that, and you'd always have those feelings of like your friends from those grades who like you shared classes with, you don't have any classes with them anymore and stuff, and even though you were like great friends and whatnot, now you almost feel estranged. You kind of, and you know, you don't really have a lot of solid friends anymore for a long time. You just kind of keep cycling through them until you find the people who you really click with and who stick with you for a longer time. And then for those people, you definitely try to make sure you never lose them, because they mean so much to you, because you've had them for so long, because you've just cared about them. They've been with you for so fucking long. It feels so good to be loved. That's what this is all coming down to. I don't even. This is my slow descent into madness as I talk about girlfriends and fucking Yuri manga. And how fucking great it parallels my own sad boy life. Yeah, I'm the only guy who came over on this side of the map. So I'm probably about to get swarmed by a bunch of fuckers. We're just going to destroy me. There he is now. Knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew he was coming. And again, there he is. And again, I'm not good at explaining a lot of my emotions towards these things, so you just kind of have to take my word for it. Hopefully you understand. Because I'm not good at language. I've never been good with articulating my own thoughts, which is part of the reason why vlogging has become such a fucking torturous thing for me. Oh, writing or expressing anything I feel becomes such an ordeal. Oh, fuck you. I wanna live. I wanna be Alita. I wanna live. I wanna kill all you. Get knifed, motherfucker. Okay, I'm alive. Holy shit. I am the worst fucking god player. I don't even care. I'm fine with that. I'll be my title. I'll embrace it. I'll be the worst of the worst, and I'll be the best at being the worst. That's a title. You can't take away from me. Shot, bro. And yet again, this podcast has been derailed for my own inability to commentate and to say anything in any entertaining or intelligible sense. Just talk about my own failings as a Call of Duty player. This whole time I've been complaining about noob tubes and grenade launchers in 2018, and this whole time I should have just been complaining about Call of Duty in 2018. Like, who the fuck besides me and all these other low-life simians play Modern Warfare 2 anymore? Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm just drawn to it, like I am drawn to girlfriends, like I am to all the friends and the people I love. Like Mari, not Mary. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. God, I did it wrong. I did the goof. I did the goof. I fucked it up. Let's start the whole podcast over. I gotta do it all over. None of this is good. None of this is good. We gotta start from scratch. Girlfriends and Alita are fucking masterpieces.
We've taken the lead.
Best thing I've ever read in my life, besides Berserk. Berserk is the other thing that's the best thing I've ever read in my life. And he has painkiller. Okay. I want to respawn. It won't let me. There we go. Is there any? I could have taken a pot shot, but I failed. This is gonna come around here. Is it gonna go? Oh, he's going. Where's he going? No, motherfucker!
Friendly airstrike inbound.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. 4 and 7. You know, I'm sure if I just stopped like playing a game, I could probably talk better. And if I stopped talking, I just swatted my mic. If I stopped talking and played the game, I played the game better. And if I played the game, if I talked and not play game, speak better, game, talk, gaming, Alita, girlfriends. How that was a point blank shot. I miss.
Friendly payload inbound.
Why am I even still talking? Why is this podcast still going? Like, no one's gonna listen to this. It has no appeal outside of like 2 people probably. You know, Nick. Hey Nick, how you doing, buddy? I'm sure you might listen to it. Even you have to draw a line at some point. Like when do my friends realize that everything I'm saying is retarded shit and that is like not enjoyable to listen to, and they have standards they need to uphold because they have better things to do with their time than to listen to me fucking talk like an idiot? Or like going on 52 minutes now, you know? Not much progress has been made in any way. This is the struggle of my life. This is the struggle. I'm surprised no one has tried to kill me. I've stayed here for a while.
UAV online.
Regrouping. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking clearly and calmly, and I'm just gonna jump. I'm just gonna shoot. That got me nothing either. In that time, I was actually trying to aim. Knife. Get me that beautiful last kill.
Strength goes unmatched. Well done.
This is the worst fucking podcast. I'm just gonna end it. I'm sending it now. It has to go. It has to stop before things get out of hand. Oh no. I can't use my mouse in this menu. There we go. Stop. Get out. And goodbye forever.